Hi, I'm Collie. I think most of you probably know me. And I, this all started because I reached out to my children's school. So if you're a teacher or you work at Holy Comforter or McClay, I hope that this yoga gets to you and is something that can be helpful. And if you are just someone else who is watching this, I hope the same thing. So I'm going to do about an hour of just some gentle movement and then some restorative yoga. And restorative yoga is something that I found in the midst of my training that I intended to be for far more intense, hot power yoga, and instead was completely drawn towards a practice that in many ways is the opposite of that. So I really like to share this kind of yoga with other people because if my type A go, go, go personality can enjoy the peace and calm that I find in this practice, I feel like other people can too. Restorative yoga is often about a lot of props. And since we're not in a studio, you might not have things like yoga blocks. If you have them, grab them. That's great. If you don't, we're going to make do with other stuff today. If you just want to take a minute and go get some towels, maybe towels can be folded and rolled up into all kinds of props that we can work with. So towels are good. Maybe a blanket if you have, just like the fleece blanket that's thrown over the back of your couch, whatever you have is perfect. And some pillows are often good. I have a couple of couch pillows here that work well. Yoga bolsters are what we're trying to find a substitute for, and bolsters are really firm. So something firm or something that maybe you can roll because things tend to get a lot just more substantial when you roll them. Even a squishy pillow, for whatever reason, becomes a lot more supportive when you fold it. So we can make do with a lot of different things. And for today's practice, I'm going to recommend that you're either by a wall or a chair, a couch, a bed, something that you can put your legs up on. So if it's a wall, obviously your legs will be up straight against the wall. If it's a chair, a couch, a bed, you just want to be able to have your knees bent comfortably with your legs over it. So playing with that for just a minute, if you're next to a chair, a couch, the height's probably going to be fine, but you can add or take away pillows from the base of the couch if you need to adjust for it. And my favorite prop for restorative yoga are socks. And it's actually a little chilly this morning, which I will I am very grateful for in April, a chilly morning. So we are not going to stand up during this practice, and therefore I highly encourage cozy socks. I have some playlists on my Spotify, and the easiest way to find my Spotify is probably to go to my page on Facebook, and I have a couple of playlists posted there. The one for today is called Virtual Restorative, and you can start it when we start the practice in a moment. Depending on how you're watching this, you may or may not be able to play it through the same device that you're watching. But if you don't want music, that's totally fine. Also, for technical and copyright reasons, cannot play music while I do this right now. So I am going to play it in the background, and I don't think you'll be able to hear it. If you do, then bonus, I'm making it work. But if not, then you can play your own music in the background. You can have no music, or if you want to try to find this playlist. Once you find me on Spotify, all my playlists are in there, and the virtual restorative is the one that I'm gonna have in the background while I'm listening to this today. So that's the one I'd recommend for today. So if you have taken a little bit of time to gather up some props, some towels, maybe, like I said, maybe close to a chair, a wall, some pillows, and if you want to go ahead and start the playlist, we will get started. We're going to start on our backs. And if you have props near you that make you more comfortable on your back, pillows under your knees, maybe, or blanket under your knees, anything like that, you're more than welcome to use it. Once you get down on your back, just starting to find comfortable shape. If having your legs long is a lot of strain on your back, you can bend your knees, letting your feet go a little wide towards the outside edges of your mat, letting your knees tip in, and that'll take some of the strain off of your back. Arms can be down by your side, maybe crossed over on your belly, wherever, again, you can start to sink in, find a little bit of calm, a little bit of peace. It's easy to get caught up in all the thoughts in our minds. One of the things yoga aims to do is to find a little stillness amidst all that chatter in the mind. And there's lots of different tools that we use to do that. The movement of yoga is one of those tools. The breath is another. Really beginning to pay attention to your breath, feeling your inhales as they come in, filling up your lungs, the movement of your chest as you do that, and then your exhales as you send it all out, starting to really take in some big inhales and big exhales. Maybe taking them in through your nose and then sighing them out through your mouth. Taking two more like that, in through your nose, sighing them out through your mouth. Taking one more on your own. The breath is one of the tools that we can use to start to tell our bodies to find a little rest, renewal during this practice. Restorative yoga aims to help turn down the fight or flight response in our bodies, that go, 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 always ready, always on side of our psyche, our nervous system. It aims to turn that down and to turn up the parasympathetic side, that part of our nervous system that helps with rest, renewal, restore. So trying to increase the length of your inhales and especially increasing the length of your exhales is a good way to tell our bodies that we're safe, that that fight or flight response can start to calm down, and that parasympathetic response can begin to kick in. We'll do a counted breathing exercise, still on your back at this point. Hopefully you can close your eyes. Hopefully you're in a space where you can do that, just blocking out that external distraction. We'll do a 6-count inhale, a 4-count hold, a 6-count exhale, and a 4-count hold. If those breaths don't work for you, just finding an even breath that does. Just taking in a breath here or holding the breath that you have to sync up, and then exhaling, and then inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2, 3, 4, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2, 3, 4. Had that backwards. Inhaling here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, 4. Last one. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Just letting your breath come back down to a normal, regular rate and rhythm. Maybe finding a 4-count inhale and a 4-count exhale that you can stay with throughout this practice. Your own 4 counts, whatever works for you, knowing that whether it's in the movement that we do in the first part of class or the stillness towards the end, your breath can be your guide, your focus for this practice. Again, the beginning of this class, we'll do a little movement, and then towards the end, the shapes will become shapes that we hold for longer, shapes that are to help us find stillness in our body, stillness in our minds. And once we get to that point, hopefully our bodies will have gotten out all of the movement that we need in order to be still. So on your back, letting your arms and legs go long, fingers going away from toes, feeling that full body stretch. Maybe sending one side long and then the other. And then sending arms and legs over towards the right corners of your mat. Just finding a crescent shape with your body, feeling that stretch down the left side. If it feels good to you, you can cross your left ankle over your right. Your right hand can reach for your left wrist, just emphasizing that curve. You do want to try to keep both your hips down and both your shoulders down as you do this. Inhaling, really feeling that expansion through the left side of your chest. And then exhaling, releasing. One more breath here. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming back through center, switching to the other side, letting arms and legs go over to the left corners of your mat. Maybe right ankle crosses over left, left hand reaching for right wrist, shoulders and hips staying down, feeling that crescent shape in your body, that stretch all the way down your right arm, right side body, right hip, maybe even down the outside of your right leg, all the way down to your ankle. Again, as you inhale, really feeling that expansion, sending air into that right side as you inhale, and exhaling it all out. Coming back to center, pulling your knees into your chest, letting your hands come to your shins or behind your thighs, rocking side to side here, feeling those muscles down either side of your spine, rocking across your tailbone, just getting a little bit of massage from that surface underneath you. And then letting the left sole of the foot come down to the mat, sending your right leg up towards the ceiling, rolling out your ankle when you get there, getting out any pops and cracks, reversing direction, and then pointing your toes, feeling that stretch all the way down the front of your ankle, your shin, past your knee, into your quad. And then flexing your foot, sending your heel up towards the ceiling, Feeling a stretch down the back of your leg this time. Again, staying with that 4-count breath. Releasing that, letting your right leg come down to the mat, right foot coming down to the mat, sending your left foot up to the ceiling, rolling out this ankle. Again, pops and cracks coming out, reversing direction. And then pointing your toes. Again, feeling that stretch, starting up at the top of your foot, coming all the way down. You can have your hands behind your thigh if that helps. Trying to relax everything else as you point through those left toes. And then flexing, pulling your toes back towards your body. That stretch starting up at the arch of your foot, up and over your heel, to your calf, behind your knee, into your hamstrings, maybe even into your glute. Releasing that, letting your left leg go long, pulling your right leg into your chest. Using your biceps here to pull it in, just gently. It's early in the practice. And then finding an early supine twist. So to find this twist, especially at the beginning of a practice, I like to stack my knees. Just makes it a little more gentle. Trying to keep both shoulders down, gazing over your right shoulder. Maybe picking up that left shoulder in order to let the right and then the left come back down. Trying to stack your hips here while keeping your shoulders down. Feeling this as a twist through your spine. Inhaling, feeling that full length of your spine, and exhaling to sink into that twist just a little bit more. Unwinding back to center, letting your right leg go long as you pull your left leg in. Again, biceps doing all the work here, everything else relaxing, being gentle, and then moving towards that supine twist on this side. Stacking your knees if that feels good. You can also stack pillows, blankets underneath that top knee if that feels better. Both shoulders staying down, gazing over your left shoulder. Staying with your breath. Feeling that expansion with your inhales and that release with your exhales. Unwinding back to center. Again, pulling your knees into your chest. And depending on the surface that you're on, as long as it is padded enough, you may want to rock back and forth on your spine a couple of times if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, just rolling to your side, meeting us in a seat. If it does, though, taking it a few times, getting that massage all the way down the full length of your spine. Once you get up to a seat, finding an easy seated shape, one foot in front of the other, preferably not ankles crossed. Bringing your hands to your knees, closing your eyes here if you can, taking an inhale in through your nose and sighing it out. On your next inhale, bringing your arms up tall overhead, feeling that full length of your spine, and then letting your left hand come down beside you, right hand reaching up and over. Feeling again that stretch down your right side body, all the way into your hip, trying to keep Both hips, your tailbone squarely down on the mat, not lifting up on that right side. Putting a little weight into that left hand in order not to collapse into that left shoulder. And then starting to let your right hand come down to your left knee and twisting over your left shoulder. That left hand just serving as a little bit of a support, a kickstand, not putting too much weight in it. Trying to keep both shoulders back. Again, feeling the full length of your spine on your inhale and twisting a little deeper with your exhales, letting your exhales help you find this shape. As you exhale, coming back towards center. Again, taking a big inhale, sending arms up tall overhead. And then as you exhale, right hand coming down, left arm going up and over. Keeping your shoulders back. Feeling that stretch down your left side body. Keeping a little weight in that right hand, not collapsing through that right shoulder. Both hips down. And then letting your left hand come down to your right knee. Twisting over your right shoulder, right hand serving as a kickstand. Inhaling for length and exhaling to find that twist. Taking a couple more breaths here. Releasing that shape, coming back to center and finding your way towards tabletop. So bringing your hands under your shoulders on the mat, your knees under your hips, starting in that flat spine. We're going to go through a couple of rounds of cat-cow here just to get some movement in the spine. So as you inhale, letting your belly drop, your hips, head, and shoulders rising. And then as you exhale, rounding your spine, letting your tailbone and the crown of your head go down towards the mat. Inhaling to open up, opening up through your chest, through your spine, and then exhaling, rounding, finding that cat shape. Letting your breath guide you as you inhale for cow, hips, head, and shoulders rise, and exhale for cat, feeling that curve of your spine. Going through a couple more rounds on your own. If there's any other movement that feels good, maybe some barrel rolls with your chest. Evening out anything you do. Going through one more breath, inhaling to open and exhaling to round. Coming back to your neutral spine and walking your hands out towards the top of your mat. Letting your chest melt down. This is melting heart or puppy pose. If your mat just seems too far away, using any props that you have to help bring the floor up closer so that you can rest your head, your forehead, your chin. And if this is too much on your chest or your arms, you can bend your elbows here. But finding that shape that works for you, trying to keep your hips up over, stacked up over your knees. Feeling this opening through your upper back, through your chest, your shoulders. Starting to come back up to your neutral spine and sending your right leg back behind you. Pushing the ball of your foot into the mat, feeling that stretch through your calf. And then picking up your right foot and sending it over to the back left corner of your mat. And thinking about bringing your left shoulder and your left hip just a little closer together, maybe gazing over that left shoulder, not straining your neck. In this shape, you should feel a pinch at the left side of your waist and a stretch on your right side body. You're using those obliques, your abdominal muscles on the side, on the left side here, stretching out everything on the right. Releasing that, letting your right knee come back down, taking one round of cat-cow here, just to neutralize the spine, inhaling to open and exhaling to round. Coming back to neutral and letting your left leg extend behind you, pushing into the mat with the ball of your foot. Again, feeling that stretch through your calf. And then picking up your left foot, crossing it over towards that back right corner of your mat. This time, trying to bring right shoulder and right hip a little closer. Gazing over that right shoulder again, but not straining your neck. Using those obliques on the right to find that pinch in your waist, that stretch on the left side. Staying with your breath. Whenever the mind starts to wander, whether it's during this class or at other times, knowing that you can always come back to your breath. You can only breathe in the present. So if you're thinking about your breath, if you're focusing on it, you're in the present moment. Releasing that shape, letting your left knee come back down, letting your knees go wide on the mat, and sitting your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Arms can go long. Again, forehead, chin can come down to the mat. And once again, using any props, any towels, pillows, blocks that you have to bring that floor up closer to you if this is not a comfortable shape. Just staying in this shape for a moment, feeling the grounding nature of it. That mat under your forehead, under your legs, supporting you. That full length of your spine stretching out. Slowly starting to come back up, letting your legs come out in front of you as you find a seat. Once you get there, just bringing your feet together, knees bent, hands coming behind you with fingers facing forward, and just slowly rocking your knees side to side. Feeling that pressure on your hips as you find that gentle rock. Being mindful as you do this. Going too fast, generally, you'll lose the benefit of the massage on those muscles in the glutes and the hips. And taking one more to each side. Coming back to center. Sending your legs long in front of you. Bringing your arms up tall overhead. And before we fold forward, really thinking about bringing your chest towards your feet, more so than your chest down towards your legs. So you want your chest to come forward as you fold. Your fold may simply be your chin coming down towards your collarbones. If that gives you the stretch that you need, the stretch that is what your body allows for, it's a perfectly fine forward fold, a perfectly acceptable shape. This is your practice and really respecting your body, your limitations, working within the range that you can. The goal of this shape is not to touch your toes. It's simply to put your body into any form of a forward fold. Forward folds are very soothing on the nervous system. I like to find a little movement in the shape. Sometimes after I've moved side to side, I find stillness is a little more comfortable in a forward fold like this. Maybe your hands are resting on the floor next to your legs. Maybe they're touching your toes. Either way, just trying to feel the stretch down your spine, back of your legs. Staying with those even inhales and exhales. Letting your breath help you find the shape. Starting to come back up, just gently coming back up. Letting your right foot come to the mat on the inside of your left extended leg. You're going to take another twist. Your right hand can come down beside you, left arm extending up, and then twisting into that that right leg, twisting over your right shoulder. Feeling this twist through your spine, maybe even into that right hip a little bit, keeping your spine straight. I really like twists. If you've taken my classes before, you've probably heard me talk about them too much. But one of the reasons I like twists, you can release that. Just coming over to the opposite side. Sorry for stopping that thought mid-sentence, but coming over to the opposite side and finding a counter stretch, just keeping your shoulders up and back just for a breath or two. I know the suspense is really tough as you wait for me to tell you the rest of what I'm going to tell you about twists. Releasing, coming back to center, switching sides, letting your right leg go long, bringing your left leg in. This time your left hand comes down beside you, right hand extending up, and then twisting into that bent leg over your left shoulder. So twists. I like twists for a lot of reasons. They work the muscles, the joints, the soft tissues, but they also work the organs that are being twisted in that part of the body. And I just think that all of the benefits from the inside to the outside of twists are not only beneficial, but simply fascinating. Starting to unwind again, coming to that opposite side, keeping your spine straight, and just for a moment, taking a breath as you twist to the opposite side. Those counter stretches in a twist often release the compression that was happening in the organs in the body and allow for a rush of circulation to come back in. Those counter twists are as important as the twists themselves. So this time, bringing your soles of the feet to the floor in front of you, taking a little space in between if you're facing the long direction of your mat, just having your feet out towards the outside edges of your mat, hands coming behind you, and this time just windshield wipering your legs with your legs wide. Again, feeling that massage on either side of your hips into your glutes. Really taking these windshield wiper movements slowly to take that in. Coming back to center. and starting to find your way back down onto your spine on the mat, letting your legs go long, taking in another full body stretch. And again, pulling your right leg into your chest, bending your knee, letting your biceps reach for your shin or behind your thigh, and really pulling in, feeling that compression between thigh and belly, thigh and chest. Even if there's not physical contact, you're still creating compression by pulling that leg in. Your right knee can go out towards your right shoulder. And then finding that twist again, the same twist we did in the beginning. So letting your right leg fall across your body. Maybe this time you don't need to stack your knees. I generally still do need to stack my knees or have a block under that top knee. Gazing over your right shoulder, noticing how this twist feels different than at the beginning of the practice. Generally, the limiting factor in this twist is how far you can twist and still keep your shoulders down. So keeping your shoulders down may mean that you have to keep your knees stacked or put a prop under your top knee to support it. But the point of this twist is the movement through the spine, and protecting your spine, keeping your shoulders down, really gets you the twist that is intended for this shape. Unwinding. This time, letting your left leg go long, letting your right knee fall out, right sole of the foot finding somewhere along your left leg, a supine tree shape, bringing your arms up overhead, reaching for wrists or elbows to add in a chest opener here. Just taking a few breaths, reversing that opening of the hip with a different movement. Starting to let your mind settle, your body settle. Oftentimes, as we slow down, all our thoughts start to speed up. So, trying not to get caught up in those thoughts, just letting them go by, not getting frustrated with the fact that they're happening. I don't think there's any way to stop them. Just being an observer to those thoughts. Letting your right leg go long, starting to pull your left leg into your chest. Again, finding that compression, using your biceps here, but letting everything else relax. Thinking about what that means for your right hip, finding some relaxation there, your left hip, your spine, your neck. Left knee can go out towards your left shoulder if that is a shape that feels good in your body, getting into your hip flexor a little differently. And finding your twist on this side. Noticing differences not only from side to side in this twist, but from beginning of practice to further into practice, how it feels different. Keeping your shoulders down, inhaling all the way up your spine, and exhaling, releasing. Really letting your exhales help you in this shape. Releasing a little more, finding your twist. Just observing what your body can do in these shapes. Our bodies will generally give us pretty good indications of what we should and shouldn't do. Sometimes we're not very good at listening to them. So just being mindful, paying attention, giving your body the respect that you can. Unwinding from this twist, letting your right leg go long, finding a supine tree on this side with your left sole of the foot, finding somewhere along that right inner leg. Again, maybe adding in the chest opener with arms overhead, reaching for elbows or wrists, closing your eyes here, finding stillness, observing those thoughts as they go by, coming back to your breath. Taking just a couple more deep inhales and exhales here. And then sending legs long, arms down by your side, just for a couple of breaths before we find some of those restorative shapes. Starting to roll to your side, just to push yourself up to a seat. And first shape we're going to do is using the chair or the wall. If you don't have a chair or a wall, you can stack pillows under your lower legs just to elevate them a little bit. You can stack pillows, blankets, everything and anything you have. If you do have a chair, a wall, a piece of furniture, the easiest way to get into this shape is to scoot one hip up really close to whatever you're trying to get your legs up. So bringing your hip up close and then swinging your legs up on top of your chair, your wall, whatever you have there. You can decide just how close you want your hips to your piece of furniture or your wall. If you're at a chair like mine, you just want to make sure your hips aren't further in than your knees. You want your hips to be under your knees or a little out in front. If you're at the wall, you may just have to move around a little to find a shape that's comfortable for you. Once you get here, find a comfortable shape. Starting to relax into it. Arms can cross over your belly or go long by your sides. Just beginning to really sink in here. If you have something, a towel, a blanket, shirt to place over your eyes just to block out a little more light, I highly recommend it. We'll stay in this shape for a few minutes, just trying to allow your body to become still. Allow your mind to become still. Focusing on your inhales and your exhales. Maybe in this shape, imagining your breath coming in and all the way down your spine. And as you exhale, sending it all back out. Thinking of each breath as a massage for your spine, your lungs pressing against those muscles. And then with your exhales, that release. Finding your space here. And I will let you know when it's time. come out. Knowing that as your mind wanders, as it will, it's not important how many times it wanders. It's just important how many times you can pull it back, not getting caught up in those thoughts, and just letting them pass by, coming back to your breath. knowing that if this shape is serving you well, you're encouraged to stay in it for as long as you'd like. If you want to move on to another shape, starting to pull your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug, wrapping your arms around your legs or behind your thighs, rocking side to side for a moment. And then starting to push yourself away from anything you're up close to, rolling to your side, coming back up to a seat, and taking the props, the pillows or blankets that you have, and placing them towards the end of your mat, laying back onto your spine, and finding a supine butterfly. So bringing the soles of your feet together, letting your knees fall out wide. You just want your feet a little higher than your hips for this restorative supine butterfly. You can have your feet out pretty wide. Having them out further, your feet further out from your body makes the shape more restorative. So that may mean scooting your head up further towards the top of your mat. And if you still need support under your thighs in this shape, well, we won't stay in it for too long, but it can still become a lot. If I were in a studio, I would have blocks under my thighs. But if you have your towels close by, you may want to just roll them, place them under. If you don't have props, you can use your hands under your thighs, just made into fists, to hold them up. Finding, again, some stillness in this shape. Maybe finding something to place over your eyes again. Blocking out a little more light, a little more external distraction taken away. Feeling your body sinking down onto the mat. That mat pushing back up in equal force to hold you. Knowing that you have the support underneath you that you need. Imagining that you have that support in everything that you do. All the support that you need at any time. Again, finding some stillness in body and mind. Easing into this shape, into this stillness. If the shape is just more than your hips, your inner outer thighs can take, you can always bring your feet to the mat and do kind of a reverse shape, letting your feet go wide, knees tipping in. Staying here for a little bit. Again, I'll let you know when it's time to move. Starting to let your legs just go long over that pillow, blanket, whatever you have there, just to find some support under your knees. You may have to adjust based on what you have there. I like something a little narrower. For Shavasana today, just finding a comfortable shape for you on the mat. If you like having that bolster under your knees as a little support for your back and staying there, if you need to remove it, bend your knees, lie on your side, whatever you need for your Shavasana. Shavasana is really the main attraction of any yoga practice. It's what we do all the movement for. All of it is preparation for this last shape. Shavasana means corpse pose, just a shape of stillness in the body, traditionally on your back. And this is where we hope to really find the stillness, the meditation, the one pointed, singular focus. Taking a body scan just to find that relaxation, starting at your toes, letting everything relax as you come to it, tops of your ankles, your shins, your calves, knees, thighs, your hips, letting everything release and relax, feeling your belly as it rises and falls, your chest as it expands and contracts, relaxing your shoulders, letting them fall down towards the mat, fall away from your ears, letting your jaw soften, your lips, your tongue, your teeth, your cheeks, your eyes, your forehead. Bringing your attention to that point between your eyebrows, just as a point of focus. As you inhale, maybe seeing a light or a shape there, a color, seeing it grow brighter, grow bigger as you inhale, and then releasing it as you exhale. Staying with that singular focus for the next few minutes of this Shavasana. I will let you know when it's time to come out. Beginning to find a little movement in your fingers and your toes. If you want to continue this Shavasana, just staying where you are. You're in your own house, just enjoying it. If you are ready to finish, taking in a last full body stretch, any last movements your body needs. pulling your knees into your chest, finding your way onto your favorite side. Once you're there, just using this as a reset. Maybe trying to find some gratitude for something. Gratitude is a pretty significant part of a yoga practice. I'm just trying to find gratitude maybe for someone, something, even if it's just the things your body lets you do. Sending that gratitude out, maybe even bigger than just this space. Letting it continue after this class. Beginning to work your way up to a seat. Keeping your eyes closed when you get there. I like to end all my practices with an Om. Om is the sound of oneness, sound of community, of healing, of coming together. And in this virtual way, you'll only hear my Om and maybe your own if you choose to join in, which I hope you do. But if you don't, you'll still get the benefits of the vibrations. So just taking an inhale and an exhale before we Om. And then inhaling for the Om. Letting your eyes begin to open. Before we finish, just imagining all the other people who are doing or have done this practice. And even across the physical distance that we have, feeling that sense of community, that sense of oneness, of coming together. Knowing that we have a connection despite the geographical distance. Thank you for practicing with me today. I send you all out with my hopes of a calm, restful rest of your day. Namaste. I'll be adding more yoga practices, different types, some more active ones, some others like this, some things in between. I hope that you find it beneficial. Feel free to share it with anyone. This is out there for anyone and everyone to enjoy. And any feedback is always appreciated.